She realizes something is wrong the moment the guard does not step aside. Not rudely. Not aggressively. Simply firmly. "I'm expected," she says, keeping her voice steady despite the tightening in her chest. "My name should be on the list." The man at the gate does not argue. He does not explain. He merely lowers his gaze to the leather-bound ledger in his hands and turns a page with practiced precision. "It isn't," he replies. Behind her the line shifts. Boots scrape against gravel. A carriage door shuts somewhere farther back. The estate gates loom overhead. Iron and stone unyielding, designed to keep the world ordered. "I was told to arrive before dusk," she says. "By the Duke himself." That earns her a second glance. Not skeptical. Cautious. "I'll inform His Grace," the guard says at last. She nods, exhaling slowly. This is an inconvenience. Nothing more. She tells herself that. Minutes pass. The air cools. The sky deepens into indigo. Lanterns along the drive are lit one by one, their glow catching on polished metal and dark coats. Then the gate opens. Not fully. Just enough. "Come forward," the guard says. She does. Inside the courtyard, everything is quieter. Controlled. Servants move with purpose, not curiosity. No one looks at her twice yet. She is escorted not to the main hall, but to a smaller antechamber just off the Duke's study. The door closes behind her with a soft, decisive click. She waits. The room smells faintly of wax and old paper. The walls are lined with portraits. Men who look like they were born expecting obedience. Power. Inherited and refined. She straightens her spine. She has done nothing wrong. The door opens. The Duke enters without ceremony. He is taller than she expected. Not imposing through size alone but through stillness. He removes his gloves as he walks, movements unhurried. Eyes already on the ledger carried in by the attendant behind him. "She's not on the list," the attendant says. "I know," the Duke replies calmly. He takes the ledger, flips it open, and scans the page as though confirming something already decided. She clears her throat. "I was invited," she says. "If there's been an oversight." "There hasn't," he says. The word lands cleanly. Not dismissive. Not cruel. Final. She stiffens. "Then why am I here?" He closes the ledger and looks at her for the first time. Truly looks. His gaze is pale, steady, unsettlingly precise. Not evaluating her beauty. Not measuring her worth. Assessing her presence. "You arrived when you were told," he says. "You did not cause a scene. You waited." She blinks. "That hardly qualifies me for whatever this is." "No," he agrees. "It qualifies you for correction." Her pulse spikes. "Correction?" "Yes." He turns the ledger back toward himself, removes a pen from his coat pocket, and draws a single line through a name already written there. Then he writes another. Slowly. Deliberately. "You're not authorized to enter," she says, incredulous. "That's what your guard told me." "Yes," the Duke replies, finishing the final stroke of ink. "And now you are." She stares at the page. At her name. Her breath catches. "You can't jest." "I can," he says, closing the ledger. "And I have." The silence that follows is heavy enough to bend around them. "This list," she says carefully, "is for vetted guests. People with standing." "Yes. And I'm neither." "You are now," he says. She shakes her head. "This doesn't make sense." "No," he agrees. "It makes consequence." Dinner that evening proceeds as if nothing unusual has occurred. She is seated exactly where she should not be, close enough to the Duke to draw attention, far enough to avoid immediate scrutiny. Conversations resume around them cautiously, like animals testing a boundary. She feels it. The shift. Questions forming. Assumptions sharpening. "You should excuse yourself," she murmurs under her breath. "No," the Duke replies quietly. "That would undo it." "Undo what?" He glances at her briefly. "Your authorization." Her jaw tightens. "You used me." "Yes." The honesty startles her. "For what?" she asks. "Containment," he replies. "Tonight required it." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one you need." She presses her lips together, forcing herself to eat, to appear composed while her thoughts race. When the man across the table leans slightly toward her, curiosity evident, the Duke shifts in his chair. Nothing more. The man leans back immediately. Her pulse stutters. Later in the gallery she confronts him. "You added my name to your list," she says. "People will assume things." "Yes. And you're letting them." "Yes. That affects me." "It protects you," he replies. "From what?" He considers her for a moment. "From being questioned," he says. "From being interrupted. From being underestimated." Her voice drops. "You don't know anything about me. I know you arrived alone," he says. "I know you were not meant to be here. And I know someone would have taken advantage of that." Her throat tightens. "You think you're helping?" "I am correcting a vulnerability," he replies. She laughs softly. "By branding me. By classifying you," he corrects. When the night ends, she is escorted not back to the gate, but to a guest chamber within the estate. "You expect me to stay?" she asks. "Yes." "You didn't ask." "No. That's becoming a habit." "It's efficient," he says calmly. She stands in the doorway, exhaustion creeping in around her anger. "And tomorrow?" she asks. "What happens when they realize I don't belong?" "They won't," he says. "And if I don't want this?" He meets her gaze evenly. "Then you will tell me," he says. "And I will remove your name." Something about that steadiness unsettles her more than coercion would have. "You're too confident," she says. "No," he replies. "I'm observant." She hesitates, then steps inside. The door closes softly behind her. Later, alone in the quiet of the room, she sits on the edge of the bed, replaying the moment over and over. The line through another name, the ink forming hers, the certainty in his hand. She wasn't authorized, and now she is, which means whatever happens next was never an accident. It was a decision, and the Duke is watching to see whether she accepts it. Morning arrives without ceremony. She wakes to a quiet she has not earned but has been granted. Thick carpets muting footsteps beyond her door. Curtains already drawn back just enough to let pale light touch the floor. For a moment she forgets where she is. Then memory settles. The gate. The lecture. The Duke's hand crossing out a name that was never meant to be replaced by hers. She dresses slowly, deliberately. Not because anyone will see her, but because she understands now that presence is part of authorization. How one stands. How one enters a room. When she opens the door, a servant waits as if she has always belonged to this schedule. "Breakfast is served," the woman says, eyes lowered respectfully. No question. No confirmation. She follows. The Duke is already in the breakfast room, standing near the window with his hands clasped behind his back. He does not turn when she enters. "You slept," he says. "Yes." "You did not leave." "No." He turns then, studying her in the morning light. "That was your first decision," he says. Her chest tightens. "I didn't know I was required to make one." "No," he agrees. "But you did." She crosses the room and takes the seat opposite him. The table is smaller than the one from the night before. More private, less performative. "You said you'd remove my name if I asked," she says. "Yes." "And you meant it." "Yes." She holds his gaze. "Then why does this feel like you already know I won't?" He considers her carefully. "Because people who object immediately do not sleep in guest chambers," he replies. "They demand exits." "That's not fair." "No," he says. "It's accurate." She demands clarity. Not permission. Not apology. Understanding. "You classified me," she says. "Without my consent." "Yes." "You used my presence to manage the room." "Yes." "And now," she continues, "everyone believes I belong here." "Yes." She exhales sharply. "That has consequences." "Yes." The way he says it, without hesitation, without softness, both infuriates and steadies her. "And what exactly am I authorized for now?" she asks. He gestures slightly with his hand, encompassing the estate beyond the window. "Access," he says. "Movement. Protection. And obligation?" He meets her gaze. "None you do not choose." She narrows her eyes. That sounds rehearsed. It is precise, he replies. There is a difference. She considers this. And the name you crossed out, she says quietly. Who was it? A woman who would have mistaken attention for entitlement, he says. She would have destabilized the evening. And I was preferable. Yes. The honesty stings, but not as much as it should. Why? She asks. Because you did not try to force your way inside, he replies. You waited to be corrected. Her breath catches. That wasn't strategy, she says. That was circumstance. No, he says calmly. That was restraint. The day unfolds with an unsettling ease. She walks the estate freely. Conversations pause when she passes, not awkwardly but respectfully. Invitations are extended without explanation. No one asks her credentials. The list has spoken. By afternoon, she finds herself back in the Duke's study. I want my name removed, she says suddenly. He looks up from his writing without surprise. Why? Because this isn't mine, she says. You gave it to me. And I won't be a placeholder, she says. Or a symbol you deploy when it suits you. He sets the pen down. That, he says, is a valid objection. Her shoulders loosen despite herself. So you'll do it? Yes, he says. If you still wish it. She hesitates. He watches without interruption. What happens after? She asks. You will leave, he says. And the world will resume treating you as unclassified. Her throat tightens. And the attention? She asks. I will not intervene. The weight of that settles heavily. You're very calm about this, she says. Because the choice is yours, he replies. And I will not influence it. She studies him. You already did, she says quietly. Yes, he agrees. But only once. That evening, they stand together in the gallery where portraits line the walls. Every person here, she says softly, looks like they were born into certainty. Yes. And you decide who joins them. I decide who is allowed proximity, he corrects. Certainty is earned. She turns to face him fully. You didn't add me because I was useful, she says. No. You added me because I was unclaimed. He considers the word. Yes, he says. And because unclaimed things are often taken without permission. She exhales slowly. So you claimed me. I classified you, he replies. Claim implies permanence. And is this permanent? She asks. That, he says, depends on what you want. Silence stretches. I don't like being decided for, she says. Neither do I, he replies. And yet here we are. Yes. She looks at him, at the man who did not flatter her, did not apologize, did not pretend this was anything other than power exercised deliberately. If I stay, she says slowly, this won't be a favor. No, he agrees. It will be recognition. And if I leave? Then you will leave with clarity, he says. Not exclusion. She nods. The court gathers again that night. Not formally, but attentively. She enters beside him. This time she does not hesitate. She does not shrink. She does not look for exits. She meets gazes calmly, holds her place. The Duke watches her, not possessively, not triumphantly. Confirming. Later, alone in the study once more, she speaks first. Leave my name, she says. He does not react immediately. Why? He asks. Because I won't pretend this didn't change me, she replies. And because I refuse to step back into invisibility just to prove I wasn't claimed. He studies her carefully. This will attach you to my authority, he says. In ways you can't yet predict. She nods. I know. And you accept that? Yes. He opens the ledger. Not to add anything. Not to cross anything out. He simply closes it. Then your authorization stands, he says. She exhales, something settling into place. And the list? She asks. He meets her gaze. You are no longer on it, he says. Her brow furrows. You just said. You are no longer on the list, he repeats. You are the exception it answers to. The meaning hits her slowly.